So the therapists have asked me to talk about where we are in the situation of COVID. We have just released some new protocols at Cutting Edge, more, and they're pretty stringent protocols because we know we're going into flu season. You know, there's strep throat, there's COVID, there's an increase across the country in multiple states, and there are hot spots. There are hot spots in Texas. So um, we just let everybody know that if they are going to travel, we have to know where they're traveling so that we know whether it's an at risk area. And if they choose to go to an at risk area, they're going to have to quarantine. And we just want to make sure that we're erring on the side of caution for everyone here because we appreciate your effort with coming in and trying to get your lives back to normal. We don't want to add any other insult to your kiddos or your family. So we are actually using our spraying device that 4 times a day throughout the clinic, so that it's about every 2 hours we're spraying everything down. We are doing other things, but we are actually using that ionic cleaning device going through and cleaning everything. We know that surface contamination is not the big risk, but we want to make sure we are covering everything. Our therapists are wearing masks. They are wearing shields. We are taking your kids' temperatures. We have kid masks. We have gloves. So we are set up. We're doing a lot more in our smaller treatment rooms and only using the gyms when there can be no more than 2 therapists and 2 kiddos in there at different parts of the room. So we're doing our part. We've been very, very successful with that, and it's been working well. But we do have to be, we've realized the biggest risk is somebody going to a wedding and somebody there is asymptomatic and spreads the virus. And so that person comes back here from a wedding and or a family gathering for that matter, and they start to infect people. So we're having to be real mindful of that to maintain how we're doing. I would suggest if you do have an exposure, we can usually go back on telehealth, which is always a good option, but rather than nothing, we want to present some structure and some form of normal. So we want to be able to maintain that. We can also give you activities to do at home. We can send home worksheets. We can send home exercise programs, all those things. So if this happens to you, because we realize families are having to quarantine, please reach out. We'll get you in telehealth. We'll get you set up so we can cover things for as long as you need, because we don't want your kiddo to have a disruption in their lives. It's very traumatic every time we go through a disruption. And we also want to make sure everyone in your household is safe. That's ultimately what we want. From what I understand, we could be dealing with this. I have families that say, well, we'll be back when COVID's over. Well, the beginning of COVID to the end, it could be 2 years. So are you going to stop your life for 2 years? That's the question I'm asking. I don't think you can realistically do that. I think some options have to change. And I think as time has gone on, many of our families that were saying that are realizing, hey, they've got precautions in place. They're doing everything they need to do. I need to come out and try to live my life. Is anything going to be perfect? No, nothing's going to be perfect. But we have to plan the best for our particular situation. So we're asking you guys to hang in there with us. If you want to know our protocols, ask us for our protocols. We're more than happy to give them to you. We are considered essential service, so we will stay open. Understand your therapists and your providers here are very mindful of your families. And we really live very boring lives. We go to work, we go home, we go to work, we go home. So we're trying to be careful, but I know this is typically a time of celebration that's coming ahead, and we just need to be cautious and let you know that we are doing the best we can to keep your family safe.